Breathing.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Melissa, and I'm here to lead you through yoga. We will practice together for 45 minutes today. So, just a reminder to listen to your body. If any of the stretches that we work with today don't work for you, you can skip them, come out and modify. Always listen to your body. You'll have different bodies, been through different things. So, not every stretch works for each person. And for your practice today, you'll want to have a yoga mat. It's always nice to have a block and a blanket close by. That can be a wonderful yoga prop to assist you throughout the practice. You don't have to have it, but it can just be nice to give a little bit of support when you need it in the poses. And as we go through our class today, I was thinking about working a bit with our spines. So we can do a bit of back bending, work with the back body, our low back, mid back, upper back, work into the neck a little bit as well. Sure, we could all use a practice of that. I find that, I personally know that I sit quite a bit through the day, and when I do that, I get a little bit rounded and my posture isn't as on point as I'd like it to be, and sometimes my back will get a little cranky. So this practice will be really nice for getting the circulation flowing, building a bit of strength through the back, building flexibility as well, soothing tension, and overall relaxation, which is one of the best benefits of yoga. As we start today, I just wanted to share a passage that I came across, and I thought that it ties in really nicely to the practice. So it starts off by talking about a psychologist who is walking around a room and they're teaching a stress management class. And the teacher holds up a glass that has some water in it. And, everyone's thinking, the question's going to be, is the glass half full or is it half empty? But she says, how much does this glass weigh? So people start shouting out different answers: 2 ounces, 20 ounces, 5 ounces. And then she goes on to continue to say that it doesn't really matter how much the glass weighs, it would depend how long you held it. So if you had this glass, and even if there was 2 ounces of water in it, if you held it for a minute, it's not really a big deal. Maybe if you hold it for an hour, you begin to get a little bit fatigued. But if you held it for a day or two, you might become paralyzed and capable of moving. And she went on to tie this to stress and worries in life. So she said, the stresses and worries in life are like the glass of water. Think about them for just a moment and nothing happens. Think about them a little bit longer and they begin to hurt. And if you think about them all day, every day, you'll feel paralyzed, incapable of doing anything. Remember to put the glass down. So I just thought that was a really nice reminder. I personally catch myself fretting about things that really aren't that important. And sometimes they'll come into my mind. And, if I just let them go, it's like not a big thing at all. But if I let my mind attach to it and I just let it snowball a little bit, it really starts to cause me a bit of distress. Maybe I feel anxious or have a hard time falling asleep. So this was a really nice reminder to when I experience those stresses to, set them down, that I don't really need to carry them with me. They're not going to benefit me. So I hope that story helps you. Maybe there is something that's been stressing you out a little bit and you can kind of tie that into the story and, just have that reminder of putting the glass down. So as we start, let's come into seated position. We'll take a nice comfy seated pose. And if it feels okay, you can have your legs crossed. And if you wanted to sit up on a block or a blanket, you can do that. So that would just help to lift your little hips a little higher than your knees. It would help your pelvis to gently roll forward a little bit, which can also help to lengthen your low back. And we can just take a little bit of time here to close the eyes and to drop into our breath and our body. And then as we're centering here, just taking that time and feeling your body against the ground. So maybe feel the edges of legs and the edges of the feet grounding and pressing down. And then feel Your spine lengthen. Let's lengthen the back of the neck. Reach and stretch through the crown of the head. And then we'll begin to connect with the breath, connect to the gentle rise and the gentle fall of the breath. And lengthening as you breathe in and lengthening as you breathe out. And then maybe encouraging your exhale to be a little bit longer than the inhale. And then as you move through the class today, allow for your breath to be the focal point of the practice. So sometimes we want to get the best stretch, the deepest stretch, and we'll just put our breath on the back burner. We'll breathe out through our mouth and then inhale through our mouth. And we really want to avoid that in yoga. We always want to breathe in and out through the nose. So letting that be a focus, inhaling through the nose and then exhaling through the nose. Set an intention, and your intention could be anything. It might be that you want to relax a bit this evening. It could be that you're holding tension in a particular area of your body and you want to release that. Let's take a moment here to take a nice deep full breath in. We'll sweep our hands right on up to the sky. And then gently taking your hands to your heart as you exhale. Relaxing your hands down onto the legs. Let's begin to take our chin to our chest. Lengthen the back of the neck. Let your right ear roll to the right shoulder. So we'll just bring that into a bit of a neck release, working with our spine, that cervical spine. Coming back to center, let's take our chin to our chest and release your head to the other side. And back to center, let's bring our chin to our chest and gently circle the head here. So we'll begin to find a bit of movement, maybe find large circles, maybe find smaller circles. And then as you're circling here, just noticing if any of the muscles are a bit tense or tight. And then just feel how they gently release as you exhale. And release. We'll flow in the other direction. And then as you're circling here, maybe just notice if it feels more natural to circle this way. It may feel a little unnatural to circle this way. Let's bring that movement of the torso in, or movement of our neck into the whole entire torso, into the whole entire spine here. And we'll begin to just gently shift the weight around from side to side. And this is a really wonderful movement for getting into your low back. We'll get into our mid and upper back. And then also great for getting into the sides of the body a bit. So we'll find some length here and we'll find a bit of space here. And reverse, we'll flow in the other direction. And then as you're circling here, maybe feel the body reacting to the movement as you shift your weight off to the right. Feel your left sitting bone and feel your left leg lifting up and lifting from the ground a bit. Let's come to a neutral spine. We're going to bring it over into table. And as you come into table, we can take our knees and hips in line, and we'll take our wrists and our shoulders in line. Feel the fingers fan out nice and wide, pressing down through the index finger and pressing down through the thumb. Let's take a moment here to lower the stomach down. We are going to lift through the heart. So we'll create a bit of a back bend here. Core engages. Let's pull it up to a neutral spine and then look off your right shoulder. So we're going to come into a bit of a C curve for the spine here. Come back to center. Let's take our chin to our chest. We'll do a rounding of our back body. Lowering that stomach a little bit. Feel the core engage. Zip it up. And then we're going to look off that left shoulder back to a C curve on the other side. And back to center. Let's try that again. We'll lower the stomach down, lift up through the heart. Core engages. Gaze off your right shoulder. Look back for your right toes. Come back to center. Let's float the navel down. Heart lifts with the breath. Back through to center. Gaze off your left shoulder. And back to center, chin to chest, round through the back. Great job. So this is moving through the 4 movements of the spine. And let's take that one more round, but go at your own pace. So it can be nice to linger a little bit. If there's a movement that feels great, maybe you're going to hang out there. Maybe you'll find a little bit of micro movements, a little bit of adjustments. Now, when that feels complete, let's take it back to a bit of a rounded back body. So try to create a bit of space in between the shoulder blades and then lift it on up into a downward facing dog. So toes will curl under, sitting bones to the sky. And shake it out a little bit here in down dog. So it may feel nice to bend one knee, to bend the other knee, and relax your head, yes. And relax your head now. So as we find this movement, this can be a really nice way to create this gentle warming up of the body. All of those muscles that may have gotten a little tense through the day. It's a nice way to kind of soften them and open them up. Core engages. Let's ripple forward through the spine. We'll come on forward 1 vertebrae at a time. Knees can lower if you would like, but you can have them lifted if you would like a little bit more challenge. We'll try a reverse push-up down to the mat. So when you do this, elbows are going to run straight back and you'll try to have your arms alongside of the body. They're going to hug. So it's a little different from a push-up that you do in a gym. Let your hands come right out in front for Sphinx. So we'll start off with a gentle back bend to gently warm our low back up. Elbows will be right in line with our shoulders. You can always reach here for opposite arms just to make sure the distancing is right. We will breathe into that nice low back bend here. Staying here, option to press your hands down, elbows lift up. Elbows can wrap in towards one another. Arms can straighten, coming into a seal pose. Let's reach, stretch through the crown of the head. Bring it down to the mat. Let's take a nice deep full breath in here. We're going to lift it up, coming into a downward facing dog. So it's to the hands. Let's come on forward into a forward fold. Finding movement in your forward fold. Bend one knee, bend the other knee, and relax your head, yes, and relax your head now. So deeply bending into the knees if needed, and feel free to go onto that yoga block if you'd like as well. That will just bring the ground a little higher up to you. You don't have to strain so far to reach it. Hands to the right, let's land in a side stretch. Get nice and grounded in your feet, inside and outside of each foot. Back to center, hands to the other side. Reach and stretch through the waist. Let's try to lengthen through the side body, through the arm and through the fingertips. Let's come back on through the center to a fold. Bring yourself to a half lift. Let's lift the spine and lengthen through the spine. Come on down to a fold. Let's take it up to mountain. Nice full breath in. Hands at the heart. Take a breath out. So I would love to take some time to work with a knee down sun salutation. And there's so many benefits to this. It's really good for your quads, nice quad stretch, nice hip flexor and psoas stretch. So if you find that you're sitting a lot through the day, these muscles are going to be those ones that tighten. So this can really bring a lot of balance back into the body. So we'll start by bringing our feet right in line with our hips. Let's take our hands to the sky. Inhale. Exhale. Let's fold it down to the mat. Take yourself into a half lift here. Plant your hands and right foot steps back. Right knee will lower and hands will reach right on up to the sky. So a common mistake for this one is to be up here and creating this kind of 90-degree angles in the legs. But if we do that, we're really missing out on that really nice hip stretch, hip flexor, psoas stretch, quad stretch. So feel free to inch that left foot forward a bit more and then really drop your hips down. Hands can float down. Let's come on back into plank. We'll take it to that high push-up pose. Knees up or down. And let's try boat pose this time. So again, reverse push-up. Arms alongside your body. Elbows run straight back. We'll take our hands behind our body for Navasana. Fingers will interlock, palms touch or square through the wrists. And let's lift off of the mat when you're ready. As you inhale, let's feel ourselves lifting up. We're going to rise up, move deeper into the back bend. Try to open the chest and the heart. Try to relax your shoulders back and down. Let's bring ourselves down to the mat. We're going to take a nice full breath here. Lifting up to down dog when you're ready. Right leg to the sky. Let's split it into a 3-limbed dog. Right foot comes forward. Left knee will lower. Hands to the sky on the in breath. Again, that sinking sensation of coming forward. Most important alignment cue on this one is that your right knee and right ankle are in the same line. We don't want our knee to come too far forward on this one. Let's reset, forward fold, left foot to right foot, big step forward. Halfway lift, forward fold, mountain, inhale, rising up. Hands at the heart, exhale. Great job. So we just did half of the side of the body. Let's do the other side. Get nice and balanced. Hands to the sky, inhale. Let's fold it down, exhale. Halfway lift with the breath. Let your hands, left foot back, left knee lowers. Hands to the sky as you breathe in. Now, maybe trying to be on the upper part of the left knee. That tends to be a little bit softer part of the knee and a little bit of a fleshier part of the knee. Taking your hands down, let's come to a twist. Right hand rises. We call this one a knee down twist. Feel your shoulders stack and open. Shoulders are in line and wrists are in one line as well. Let's release it back to runner's lunge. Come on, find your way to plank. Moving into cobra from here. So reverse push-up down to the mat. Hands are underneath the shoulders this time. So we'll take the tips of the fingers in line with the tops of the shoulders. Pinkies in line with the deltoids. Glue the tops of your feet down. Let's rise to the navel with the breath. Hug your arms into the sides of your body and try to feel your elbows running straight back. Almost create a little sensation like your hands could lift from the mat. So we're really going to channel that nice mid-back strength. Glue the tops of your feet down. Try to lift your hands up if you wanted to challenge yourself. But sometimes when we do that, our feet lift. So make sure that those feet are gluing down. Let's float it down to the mat. We're going to take a nice full breath here. Let's press it on back. Downward facing dog. Left leg to the sky. Let's bring it up. Left foot comes forward. Right knee will lower. Hands to the sky. Back to knee down warrior. Anjane Asana. Feel your shoulders relaxing away from the ears. We'll try to create a bit of space here between the ears and the shoulders. Hands float down. Let's raise that left hand when you're ready for a twist. Let your shoulders stack and open. So we'll feel our shoulders in one line and we'll feel our wrists in one line. Hand comes down, right foot forward, coming into our fold. Halfway lift, forward fold, mountain, rise up, breathe in, and hands at heart, and breathe out. Let's try a sun salutation A, regular one. We'll take our hands up, breathe in, come on down to fold, breathe out. Finding that halfway lift. Let's plant our hands. We'll bring it back on through the plank. High push-up pose. Knees up or down. And then moving into a King Cobra on this one. Sorry about that. So for King Cobra, hands are under the shoulders. And then walk your hands out to the sides of the room. Be a little tented up onto the fingertips. Option 2, rise all the way up. Straighten the arms out. You can also have a bend in the elbows if needed as well. Now, to make this one easier, hands will walk out further to the sides of the room. You'll have less of a bend in the elbows. And more challenge, walk those hands into your body. Let's bring it down to the mat. Take a nice full breath in here. We're going to press it back, downward facing dog. So it's to the hands. Let's bring it through into our forward fold. Take yourself to your halfway lift. Fold yourself down. Let's rise on up, breathing in. Hands at the heart. Let's take a nice breath out. Right leg rises. We'll work with the crane pose. We'll come into Balikakasana. So for this one, toes can be on the ground. You may want to try to lift your leg up for a 90-degree angle. Arms can come out into T with soft wrist, elbows, and shoulders. Find your drishti. Try to find that one spot to focus your concentration and to focus your awareness. From here, we're going to try to work with Shiva squats. So for this one, you'll take your right foot to the left. And try to have some space between the feet. So sometimes a few feet, couple feet between the feet is good. And you'll want to create a bit of a diagonal here. You could be right up on the toes of that back foot. Stay here. If you wanted to work those legs, you could take a little bend, maybe a deeper bend. Maybe that knee is going to tap down. We're going to take our palms up. Bring your index and your thumb to touch, coming into a mudra. And then we're going to let that one go. So we're just going to float ourselves back on through into crane. Fun little balance. Always such a good little workout for the legs too. Let's try that again. We're going to float it down. Nice little tap, mudra through the hands. 5 more times at your own pace. Good. Let's bring it back on through into crane. And from here, we'll step it back and take a crescent warrior. So crescent warrior, this one's often referred to as a high lunge pose. Have a nice deep bend in that front knee. So try to stack your knee in line with your ankle. If this is feeling easy, bring more distance between your front foot and your back foot. If it's feeling too easy, bend deeper into your front knee. Let's try warrior 3 from here. We're going to spring it forward. Try our balance warrior, Virabhadrasana tree. Anytime we find our balancing poses, we want to find our drishti. We want to find that one spot to focus concentration, to focus awareness. And once you find that spot, not letting the eye shift at all. Come on back to a warrior 1 pose when you're ready. We'll have a nice deep bend in the front knee. And this is very similar to the crescent, but it's a little different because our back heel is planted for this one. So we'll have a nice bend in the front knee. Back heel is grounded and planted, pressing firmly into the outer edge of your back foot, giving yourself that nice calf stretch, giving yourself that nice hamstring stretch. Let's bring our hands behind our body. We're going to take it back into Yoga Mudra. We tried this one in boat before, so we'll see if it's a little easier this way. Palms are touching, maybe square the wrists. Stay here, fold it down if you'd like. Engage your core as you rise up. Really ground into your feet. Get nice and strong through the legs as you rise. Float the hands down, runner's lunge. You're going to just pop right up onto the toes of your right foot. Right heel lifts, left hand to the sky. Take your runner's twist. And then as you're twisting here, activate your right leg. Try not to forget about the back of the knee. Sometimes that back leg will begin to bend a little bit. So really activate the back of the leg. Float your hand down. Forward fold with your legs crossed. Right foot will take a big step to the upper left edge of your yoga mat. Now line your toes up, line your heels up, and fold over the fronts of the legs as you exhale. You may want to play with the weight in the feet here. Maybe draw your weight forward into your toes. Send your weight back into your heels. Maybe shift your weight to the right and to the left. See if that gives you a little different stretch in the leg. Unwrap your legs into a nice forward fold. So we're going to take our feet in line with our hips. Bring yourself to your half lift. Come on down to fold. Let's bring it on up, grounding into the feet, mountain, Tadasana, and then hands at the heart space as you exhale. Let's bring our left leg up. We'll try out our crane pose on the other side. And see if you can get nice and grounded in your right foot. So you want to press through the inside, through the outside. And then notice your body's natural tendency, if you tend to roll in or tend to roll to the outside of your foot. Let's begin to float our foot back, and we'll work with our Shiva squats. This time we'll take a different variation with the hands. We're going to take our hands at the heart space into Anjali Mudra. So you can always keep the legs straight, maybe a little bend, maybe deeper bend. Ground into your right foot. Let's float it up, and let's bring it down. 5 more times at your own pace here. So a lot of times I do these and I forget I do these. And then the next day I'm really sore and I'm trying to think, what did I do to get myself sore? Oh, I did these. So I'm sure I'll be feeling this tomorrow. Good. Let's bring it back into crescent from here. So we're going to float our left foot back. Left heel will be lifted. And we'll take our hands right up to the sky on the in-breath. Give yourself that opportunity to connect with your breath. Check in. Make sure that you're breathing in, breathing out through your nose. Coming forward, let's bring it into our warrior 3 pose. We'll take our balancing warrior. Maybe imagine if you saw yourself from the side, you would want to create a letter T, a capital T with your body. Long line from right heel to right hip. Long line from left heel to crown of head. Warrior 1, let's bring it back. Left heel grounds down. Let's press nice and firm into the outer edge of our left foot. Breathe into your calf stretch. Breathe into the hamstring stretch. Hands behind your body. Bring it back to Yoga Mudra. Nice shoulder stretch, nice spine stretch, heart opener here. Fold it down, devotional warrior 1 pose. Core engages. Let's rise on up. Float with your breath. Hands begin to float down. Runner's lunge. Right hand rises. Take your twist. And then as you're twisting here, try to feel your shoulders stack and open. Shoulders in line, wrists in line. One long line, fingertips to fingertips. Coming back to runner's lunge, let's bring it into our fold with our legs crossed. Left foot is going to take that nice big step forward. Line your toes up, heels up, fold over the fronts of the legs as you exhale. Let's begin to unwrap the legs, back on through to our forward fold. Bring yourself into your halfway lift. Fold yourself down. Let's rise on up. Inhale. Hands at heart. Exhale. Let's try for a dancer pose. We'll come into Nadarajasana. So for this one, we'll take our right hand to our right foot. You can grab right on the outside of your foot. And if you were looking for a deeper shoulder stretch, maybe you want to grab on the inside. We have a couple different options here. Let's take our left hand out in front. You may want to work with a mudra. You could take your index and your thumb together. This is called our chin mudra, yana mudra. And we'll begin to kick the foot into the hand to come on forward. And this pose has so many benefits. So this pose is great for strengthening the standing legs. We strengthen all of the muscles through the foot, through the ankle, and through the knee. We get a wonderful quad stretch and hip flexor stretch on the right side. We get a nice back bend through the three parts of our back. So our low back, mid back, and upper back. We also get that nice stretch through our shoulder. And let's take it into a warrior two pose from here. So we'll gently release that right foot, and then right foot will float back. I'm gonna open this one up. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana Dvi. Have your front heel in line with your back arch. Let your shoulders be over your hips. Let's begin to windmill the hands down. We're gonna bring it to a runner's lunge. Walk your left foot to the left edge of the mat. Right foot will take a big step to the upper right edge of the mat, coming into a fold with your legs wide. Hang out here. Option to try for yogi squat if you'd like. So sometimes to make this pose easier, you can bring more distance in between your feet. Also, you can grab your props. So sometimes a rolled up blanket underneath the heels can be a nice support, or even having your hips on that yoga block is a great support as well. Let's begin to press on up into our fold. Feet in line with your hips. Bring it to your half lift. Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. This is Uttanasana. And then we're going to rise. Nice breath in. Hands at heart to breathe out. Let's give that a try on the other side. So we'll take our left hand for our left foot. And on this one, you can decide if you want to grab on the outside of your foot or the inside of your foot. Right hand comes up. Find your mudra if you'd like to try that one on this side. We'll begin to kick the foot into the hand to come forward. Now our mudra, chin mudra, yana mudra. This mudra is great for calming the mind, calming the body. It's said to help cultivate concentration, creativity, really focus the energy. Let's open this one up for warrior two. You're just gonna float that foot back and open. I enjoy imagining that my feet were magnets and that I could pull my feet into the center of the yoga mat just to try to activate some different muscles in the legs. So although the feet won't actually move, we want to imagine that we could pull both of our feet in towards one another. Windmill your hands down, runner's lunge. Left foot, let's take our left foot to that left side of the mat. We're gonna hop that big step forward. Legs are gonna be nice and wide. Take those feet out as wide as possible. Now, hips sink back and down, yogi squat. Garlands pose, Malasana. Now in this one, let your toes be tracking in line with your knees. So we don't want our knees moving one way and then our toes moving another way. So try to have that nice alignment. Bring it into a forward fold from here. Hands plant, legs lengthen, feet in line with your hips. From here, let's bring our hands down and we are going to step it back into a downward facing dog. Right leg will take a float to the sky, 3-limb dog. Bend, stack, open through the hips. Take time to reset the hips, squaring them down. Right knee to right wrist. Let's bring it through into pigeon. We'll try for a hip opener here. Right knee can float off to the right side of the room. And then your lower leg can be at an angle and you'll try for your right foot to be near your left hip. You can always use your props here if you need them. You can always prop underneath your hip on the left side or the right side. Now, feel free to stay up here if you would like. You can come on down to fold on the exhale if you'd like as well. Finding a little bit of softness in the pose. And try to close your eyes. Relax your eyebrows. Relax your jaw. Try to relax through the back of the head and the back of the neck. Relaxing through the shoulders, arms and hands. And then relaxing the upper, mid and low back. Relax your legs. Relax your feet. Let's prepare to release this one. We're going to press ourselves up, coming into a downward facing dog. Left leg will extend to the sky. Bend, stack, open. Reset yourself down, squaring. Left knee to left wrist. Let's have our leg at an angle. That left leg is at a bit of an angle, 45-degree angle. And we're going to have our left heel near our right hip. Try to feel yourself balanced here. We don't want to be leaning off to one side or the other. Try to really feel the sensation of squaring your hips and shoulders forward. Come on down to a fold if that works for you. Just folding forward makes the stretch a bit more intense. Let's release this one. And to come up on this side, we're going to roll into our left hip. And we're going to sweep that right foot forward and then just shake out the legs a little bit here. Coming down onto your back, let's try for a happy baby stretch. That's our nice counter stretch after a hip opener. So you'll take your feet out nice and wide, also those knees nice and wide, flex your feet, rock to the right and rock to the left. Imagine that you could stomp your feet up on the ceiling. And in time, imagine that you could create the legs into a 90-degree angle. So nice and deep bend into those knees and into the hips. Let's bring our knees to our chest. We can hug them in, arms, hands around knees or shins. And circling out the knees a little here. So what we'll do is take our knees out nice and wide, moving in opposite directions here. So right knee to the right side of the room, left knee to the left side of the room. And begin to reverse. We'll just flow in the other direction. And let that one go. Let's take some time to relax. We will wrap our practice up with Shavasana, our resting pose. So for this one, it's really just an opportunity to relax your mind and your body. Sometimes it feels nice to relax your arms and your legs along the mat. If you have sensitivity in your low back, sometimes it can pull a little on the low back to lay flat on the ground like this. So there's always an option to bend your knees and plant your feet. You could have your feet in line with your hips and then just have your knees bent with some space between your knees. And there's also an option to take your feet to the edges of your mat and then just let your knees move in towards one another as well. It only takes a reminder to breathe, a moment to be still. And just like that, something in me settles, softens, makes space for imperfection. The harsh voice of judgment drops to a whisper. And I remember again that life isn't a relay race, that we will all cross the finish line, that waking up to life is what we were born for. As many times as I forget, catch myself charging forward without even knowing where I'm going, that many times I can make the choice to stop, to breathe, and be, and walk slowly into the mystery. Deepening the breath, wiggling fingers and toes, rolling to the right or to the left, finding a fetal position, and pressing into seated when you're ready. As you come into seated, sit in any way that feels comfortable for your body. Hands can come into the heart space in prayer and Anjali Mudra. Ending our practice with a little excerpt here. We all come to yoga for vastly different reasons. To connect to our body, our breath, each other, a greater purpose, our community. We come to connect. Yoga in Sanskrit translates to union, to join. It pieces together that which was never actually separate. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. I don't know about you, but personally, I feel great. I know we worked quite a bit with our spines today. I know that my spine feels very aligned and balanced. We worked on the different movements of the spine. Our spine moves 6 different directions. So we worked on all of those little stretches, and this practice was really great for aligning the mind and the body. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that you have a wonderful day today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.